Massive things have been happening on Old School RuneScape. They just announced changes that will affect everyone. Starting with the brand new super good money-making NPC, Undead Pirates. And if you don't know about them, you're gonna want to find out. Undead Pirates are being strategically placed in the Chaos Temple area of the wilderness, with the goal of increasing PvP action and GP in your pocket. And on top of that, you're also able to farm with a Dwarven multi-cannon, further increasing experience rates and profit per hour. This piece of content will overall be completely game-changing, since you'll be able to farm GP there and have a new hotspot to PK in. Now, what's incredibly interesting about Undead Pirates are their unique rewards, which Jagex states in today's brand new blog post. You also remember that these rewards have a bit of a theme. They are all tradable, and they're all intended to be consumed. Long term, this means that economically minded players will see consistent profits from this area, as these items will remain desirable over time. They go on to talk about one of the big items that Undead Pirates are going to be dropping, the Chivalry Prayer Scroll. They start by mentioning that one of their primary motives in fleshing out this low wilderness level hotspot was to give Zerkers, Peers, and other PvP focused builds a place to hang out. They say that this also means that if you're still progressing your account and feel like a bit of risk for some juicy reward, you're more likely to be attacked by players around your combat level rather than far beyond. Currently, Chivalry requires 60 prayer, 65 defense, and completion of King's Ransom Knight waves. In return, it offers a nice boost to defense, strength, and attack. Overall, it's essentially a weaker version of Piety, and because of that, it remains unused. Jagex then states that this consumable prayer scroll gives lower level players the option to use a prayer they wouldn't otherwise have access to. That it will also even the odds between players with drastically different builds, leading them into a very important question that we have the opportunity to answer. Should Jagex add the Chivalry Prayer Scroll, a tradable item that would unlock the Chivalry Prayer as described in the blog? Currently, as it stands, they're pitching that the Chivalry Prayer will require 60 prayer to use still, but they have suggested some big changes to Chivalry's bonuses. And they say as a team, they're committed to giving this prayer a little extra oomph. Check this out. They've given us two different options. Option A, give Chivalry 15% defense, 18% strength, and 20% attack. This approach leans into accuracy bonuses while lowering the usual defense bonus. Higher attack has more value against high defense targets than low defense ones, so its returns are greater when punching up. Jagex feels that players in the 60 to 69 prayer space are usually fighting NPCs whose damage can be mitigated entirely by protection prayers, so defense isn't all that useful. On the other hand, players taking on the Inferno and Theater of Blood might want that extra defense so they can tank hits from multiple combat styles. Option B, 20% defense, 18% strength, and 18% attack. Jagex states that this approach simply buffs the attack boost, increasing it from 15% to 18%, without altering strength and defense. This puts Chivalry above incredible reflexes while keeping it below Piety in terms of power. They say while this won't give you quite as much raw accuracy versus high defense enemies, it's a more rounded approach to the prayer and will ensure that players retain their all-important defensive stats. Right, so option A, in my opinion, is totally better. With Chivalry being as good as it possibly can be, that will increase the value of the prayer scroll, making Undead Pirates even more viable. Now, that's not the only unique profitable item in the mix. They've suggested bringing in two other completely unique items to the Undead Pirate drop table. Let's take a quick look at them, and then we're going to talk about what I've been waiting to talk about this entire video, the huge changes they propose which will affect the agility skill, Slayer, and a brand new moneymaker. Let's get into it. Jagex wants to release Adamant Seeds into the game, an alternative to the classic Mithril Seeds that we all get from the Waterfall quest. They start out by saying planting Mithril Seeds moves you one tile westward. In PvP, this unusual quirk becomes a great way to get yourself behind an obstacle and break line of sight so that you can log out. This adds a little spice to PvP, but it can be a little bit predictable once you become experienced. That's why Adamant Seeds are here to revolutionize wilderness gardening. They state that they're the same as Mithril Seeds in every respect, except that when they're planted, they move players one tile to the east, and they expect them to be a consistent source of income for those of you guys who are farming the Undead Pirates. So in short terms, it's going to be an item that high-level PKers will use to PK you and make it harder for you to escape. But on the contrary, you can also use it yourself that way. And the third unique item likely coming with Undead Pirates is the Blip Blocking Scroll. For those of you guys who have farmed Elder Chaos Druids, you know that they teleport you all around the map. Jagex says if you're sick of being teleported all around the place, you'll be glad to hear that this handy scroll will put a stop to it. Like the Chivalry Prayer Scroll, this is a one-time tradable unlock that will vastly improve your pirate slaying experience. They state that since it's a reasonably rare drop, they're also considering giving you the ability to block Abyssal Demons teleportation attacks with this scroll. That would make something incredibly viable for both the PvM and PvP aspect. But that's not all. One part that you're certainly going to want to know about are the new zombie pirate keys, which are going to be used at a brand new pirate ship-based location in the wilderness. These zombie pirate keys are an uncommon drop for the Undead Pirates. When you unlock a a chest with a key, they'll give you an additional roll on their loot table for any loot received, including uniques. That basically means that you can get 2 Chivalry Prayer Scrolls or 2 drops of Adamant Seeds or the Blip Teleportation Scrolls if you open up one of those chests and hit a unique drop table. Jagex says that the aim here is to spread a little bit of the action into the single-way combat zone, but keep the heart of the update in a multi-combat mosh pit. And speaking about a multi-combat zone, let's talk about the next huge changes Jagex wants to implement. These changes will be impacting money-making, agility, and Slayer. Starting with the new Fountain of Rune update. Currently, the Fountain of Rune provides unlimited runes to anyone within its sight, which means that you can cast any spell you like indefinitely, so long as you don't mind missing out on experience. The current use for the Fountain of Rune is a hotspot for enchanting jewelry and crossbow bolts for extra profit. And Jagex would like to increase its utility by allowing you to cast alchemy spells on multiple items at once while you're at the Fountain of Rune. This buff will scale with the Wilderness Diary tiers, allowing you to alch huge stacks of items incredibly fast, increasing your profit rates to insane numbers. This is how Jagex would like the buff to scale. With the easy Wilderness Diary, 5 of any given alched item at once. Medium is 10 items alched at once. Hard Diary completion is 20 items alched at once, and Elite is 30 items alched at once. That is insane numbers. Jagex gives us a good example. They say rune arrows are worth 83 GP on the Grand Exchange at the moment, but they can be alchemized into 240 GP each. But at the moment, there is a 150 GP cost on a nature rune, meaning that you only profit about 7 GP each if you alch rune arrows, making them not really worth doing for profit. But if you remove the cost of nature runes, you're then looking at some real profits. You can alchemize 30 arrows at a time, giving you about a 160 GP profit per arrow times 30 each alch. They also go on to say that they reckon a speedy speller can cast high-level alchemy around 1,200 times an hour, which leaves you with fat stacks of cash. If you alched rune arrows 1,200 times an hour at 30 arrows per alch, and you don't have any nature rune cost, and you already profit 7 GP each, you're looking at a 5.6 million GP profit per hour from alching rune arrows in the wilderness. That is one of the top money makers in the entire game for something as easy as alching. That could be an absolutely incredible money maker. And regarding moneymakers, did you know that there's a few Discord servers that are dedicated on giving GP out? One way players make a lot of GP without necessarily playing in-game is by entering giveaways that usually occur on YouTube videos, streams, social media posts, or Discord servers. Here's an example of a giveaway-based Discord server that gives hundreds of millions of GP, if not billions of GP away weekly. Everything they do is completely free to enter, and they also track any Twitch streamers that have giveaway in their title and have a notifier for anyone who's interested in that type of content. I'll leave a link in the description for those of you guys who want to join and have a passive way to make some GP. But Jagex did not stop there. They also mentioned adding a gigantic update to the Wilderness Agility course, which will make you GP. They start out by saying that the Wilderness Agility course provides some solid XP rates for level 52 agility, but comes with some heavy caveats. It's hard to get to, you miss out on marks of grace while you're there, and alternative methods to train agility in this level range give you comparable XP rates with more lucrative rewards. They then say it's time that they show the Wilderness Agility course some love with a fully opt-in system that gives slightly boosted experience rates and leaves you with some spending cash. In order to opt in, you'll have to deposit 100,000 GP into a pillar located at the end of the course, which is conveniently also the start of the course. Unlike other wilderness deposits, if you die to another player within the course, the fee is removed from the game completely. After opting in, you'll receive loot every time you complete a full lap. This loot begins with every lap you complete without logging out or leaving the area. They mentioned that the loot in question is made up of delicious alchables and blighted items. And here's how the loot will scale up. 1 to 10 laps, you'll get roughly 10,000 GP worth of loot per lap. If you do 11 to 30 laps, you'll get 20,000 GP worth of loot per lap. 31 to 60 laps, you'll get 30,000 GP. 31 to 60 laps, you'll get 30,000 GP a lap. And 61 and above laps, you'll get 40,000 GP per lap. With that math, at current rates, about 80 laps per hour, you'll get around 2.2 million GP worth of loot in your first hour. And 3.2 million GP for every hour beyond that. They also say that touching the pillar will also restore your run energy, so you can make sure to bring more gear and have more food on you. They also plan to give players tokens at the end of each lap. Each one grants 200 experience, but stacking them up grants additional XP multipliers in the manner of pest control or bounty hunter rewards, with 1 to 10 tokens granting you 200 XP a token, 11 to 50 tokens granting you an additional 5% XP, 210 XP per token, 51 to 100 tokens will be 220 XP a token, and over 101 tokens will grant you an additional 15% XP XP, equaling out to 230 XP per token. They state that assuming you trade all your tokens in at once, this means that your first hour nets you around 17,000 bonus XP, your second hour will net you 18,000 bonus XP, and every hour beyond that will be 18.4 thousand experience, which is a bonus on top of the normal XP you earn from actually doing the course. Meaning that if you stack your tokens and stick it out, you can earn a whopping of 65,900 experience per hour. This update is absolutely game-changing. And I've said this before in the video, but they did not stop there. There's more. Jagex wants to do a load of tweaks to wilderness content, and that means making a respawn timer of most wilderness NPCs to 9 seconds to reduce downtime on wilderness slayer tasks, meaning that wilderness slayer NPCs will be respawning faster, and they want to add more NPCs in areas like bandits at the wilderness bandit camp, dark warriors at the dark warriors fortress, rogues at rogues castle, ankus, hellhounds, ice giants, and jellies in the wilderness slayer caves, which is so huge for those of you guys who do wilderness slayer. They also want to shift the furniture in the pirates hideout so you can place a cannon, add rune full helmets, medium helmets, and scimitars and dragon longswords to the loot table for high level bandits. They want to add more frequent coin drops for high level rogue variants, increase the superior monster spawn rate by 10% while on a wilderness slayer task, and allow you to purchase multiple imbued god caves for a cost of 500,000 GP. These updates will absolutely transform the game. And to make this that much more epic, I'm going to toss one of you guys a Bandos chestplate. Just like the video, leave your RuneScape name in the comment section below so I know how to contact you, and be sure to subscribe so you get notified when I upload new videos. I'll see you guys all in the streams.